Okay, here we are, MetalTalk, and it's good to be here with Steve Overland and Pete Jupp.
Hi, how are you doing, Mark?
Very good, it's good to see you.
And you, mate?
And of course you're here today to talk about a new album,
Yeah.
Heroes and Villains.
Yeah, that's the one.
Out on Frontiers Records, and I think the first question I must say, and I think a lot of people have said this themselves, is that since you've reformed in '97 for Firefest, your fourth studio album now, and you've been such prolific songwriters.
Yeah.
And where's all this creativity come from?
I think basically, mate, it's the positivity around the band has been great since we came back. You know, the support from radio and people like yourself, press, everything. They've just been so supportive of the band. And it just inspires you, doesn't it, really?
Well, it was when we did Firefest in 2007, like we had no plans past getting through that gig. Because we weren't sure we were going to even do that, you know, because we weren't allowed to do a warm-up. It was literally the first gig we did in 12 years. And, you know, you doubt yourselves sometimes, don't you?
Well, you do, you don't know how you're going to feel.
And we didn't know
You don't know how the band's going to feel.
Well, exactly.
This is it, yeah.
And the thing was, you know, it sold out, and we went out on stage, and it was just the most amazing experience. And we came off, and it was just like, wow, we have to do an album for these people because they deserve it, you know. And then it was like, right, what do we do then? How do we do it?
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the thing. And since we came back, we didn't expect it to get back to this level, Mark, to be honest. We thought, you know, we'll do a few gigs, handpick a few gigs and just have fun doing it. And all of a sudden, everybody came back on board, the agencies, the management, the record companies wanted to sniffing around again. And I think all that has inspired us. Yeah. So we just keep writing. I mean, we've got songs for the next album. It's just, at the moment, with all this kind of buzz around the band, you just want to keep going.
You get caught up,
you know, you do, you know.
You just think, wow, this is great, we want more of this.
Yeah, so...
There's not only that, but even your darlings are Radio 2 now, you know.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
I know.
At this stage in our lives, we never had that first time round.
Yeah, exactly,
that sort of support, you know, and they've been great. Everybody has that. Yeah. You know, I mean, like Planet Rock. It's just fantastic.
There's so many more stations now, kind of thing, on the internet and stuff. And everyone's just supporting us. It's great. You know, we're loving it.
Yeah, it's great.
That's work for everybody who comes back. So what have you got that other bands don't?
Don't know.
It's not good looks, is it? It's not our youthful good looks, is it?
I don't know, mate. I mean, I think FM, basically, when we came back, we knew we had to change the sound from what we used to have years ago, the 80s sound. We made a conscious decision. We said we need to get a new FM sound, but it has to incorporate all of the good qualities that we had back then. But you can't make albums that sound like Indiscreet in this decade. You can't. And I think the writing and stuff, FM basically it crosses over. It does cross over a bit. It's not metal. It's not heavy. There's a bit of blues. There's pop in there. It's commercial, and I think it does have that crossover potential.
It's melody basically, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think Radio 2 and have basically heard it, and that's the thing that's got us on there.
Maybe Pete's just hit the nail on the head there. It's melody. It's lacking in a lot of new music these days.
Exactly. Yeah. So we can't explain any of it. We can't explain why we're back where we are or anything. It's just happened.
We're just glad we're fooling everyone. You know?
And we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know?
And this album's coming out with Frontiers Records, which is a new label, new home for you.
Yeah.
What does that mean to FM, being with Frontiers?
Well, we went to Italy and did the festival a couple of weeks back, and they're fans of
We've got a latecomer arriving.
Oh, we've got another member. Hello, Merv. Welcome to the party, Mr. Goldsworthy.
You were coming. You're right, mate.
Went to the wrong pub.
Had a couple of beers.
Been to the park bench.
There you go.
Well, welcome to the party, Merv. We've just been talking about the album.
Cheers, Mark.
You just started, and you're saying that you're signed to Frontiers. What does Frontiers mean to FM? Working with them.
We've met them now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Nice people, good record company.
Fans of the band, which is a big help. You know, the buzz out there when we went out was fantastic. The gig was great. We did a little acoustic set for the record company and some invited guests, and that went amazingly well. And you get the feeling that they're just such big fans of the music that So far we've got no complaints, mate.
And we're in great company. I mean, their roster is fantastic, isn't it?
Of course,
So they obviously know what they're doing.
So, it's funny, we just mentioned you played acoustic recently, and a lot of fans have been asking, when are you going to do an acoustic set again? You know, it's something the fans are asking for.
We had a good laugh, because as usual, we were about not prepared in the slightest. We just sort of went down there, we knocked a few things out, and it was great fun. It was very light-hearted, and we just enjoyed it. And one of us would start a song, and everybody else would join in, and it sort of came together, you know. And the response to it was fantastic. We had people coming up and saying, "That's the best I've ever seen you." You know, please, you know.
Let's talk about some of the tracks on the album. It opens up with Digging Up the Dirt. It's quite a rocky number for FM.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that, 'cause there's a subject behind it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like basically just, you know, all these magazines that my wife has kicking about, like Heat and nonsense, you know.
But you still read them.
I pick them up from time to time. I'm like, you look at it and it's like, who's got the most cellulite, who's put on 2 pounds in the last week, and it's just tripe, isn't it? You know, there's no actual, nobody really wants to read the real news. They just sort of look at all this crap. Well, she does anyway. You know, and so it's kind of a song about that, really, mate. It's, you know, and it's about sleaze, and basically, you know, everybody's interested in superficial nonsense these days, aren't they? You know? And so it's about that, really, you know.
And also this album, you've used like a string section.
Yeah.
Which is quite new to FM. So how did that idea come about?
It was Jim, wasn't it? Jim.
Yeah, we used the girls on
a video,
Runaway Train video, and they were great, weren't
they?
They
were brilliant, yeah. And the song, you know, with Walking with Angels, that it's a song that's been around I've had that song for a long time, and we just never recorded it. I had it in on the Metropolis days, you know. I played it in the studio, and it was, I think it's a good song. We just got left to one side because we were writing other stuff, and we sort of decided that we'd keep it straight. Everybody said it sounds great just with acoustic guitar and vocals, so we kept it like that. Something different, and Jim just came up with the idea what it needs is real strings. It would sound great, you know, and it worked great.
I think when you said let's finish the album with it, it had a position, then we knew what we were going to do with it, and you know, so.
And so if that's a song you perform live, that's a great opportunity for Merv and Pete to do the old Extreme Modern Words video and get the lighters out.
Yeah, songs like that, that's nice.
Yeah, 15 of them.
And I know on Facebook you talked about you've got a live tour coming up.
Yeah.
1st of May actually, UK tour. And you've been asking fans from what songs from this album would you like to hear live? And the encouraging thing is, fans will be coming out with various answers, a very wide mix. So
it's scary, isn't it? We'll have to do it.
You know, are you going to just pull songs out the hat kind of thing, or
you're not going to please anybody there.
That's the thing. It's so hard to please everybody.
It is, yeah.
You know, we do our best, but you just can't. It's impossible. You know.
That's why you put it out though, to gauge.
Yeah, try and get it.
You should be playing, you know.
Yeah. And you know, we'd like, if you asked us what we'd like to play all the new album. You've got to play, especially when we go to Europe and like when we went to Italy, they want to hear, because we've not played there. They want to hear Indiscreet. They want to hear Tough It Out.
Well, I know when I go and see a band, I want to hear all the old stuff. You know, and I'm no different to people who come and see
the songs they grew up with.
I remember you saying actually a few years back when we did the Indiscreet tour. I thought, right, that's it, that's the nostalgia out the way. Now we're going to concentrate on the new material. But they say you can't quite get away from it.
You know, if you
it's not fair. It's not fair.
An FM gig without that girl and Bad Luck and all that, it's a bit like, you know, so we have to do them, you know.
And there's like 2 power ballads on his album as well. One I just mentioned, Walking with Angels, and another one, Incredible. And obviously, you know, being AOR fans, you must be fans of the power ballad, especially after playing with bands like REO Speedwagon before and Foreigner. So what's the ultimate power ballad to you?
Well, for me, I mean, I've got to say, we're touring with Foreigner, I Want to Know What Love Is. It's a great anthem song. You know, I mean, basically they just stop playing and the whole crowd are just going singing the song. So that in itself shows how much it's touched people, that song. It's pretty hard to beat that song. It's fantastic. I mean, probably wouldn't be my favourite ballad, but it's the type of ballad.
And number one smash on both sides of the Atlantic as well.
You know, it's one of those songs that every band should have in their set.
How about you, Merv?
I like a lot of the blues ballads, mate, like stuff by Colin James and Johnny Lang and stuff like that.
Of course, I know suckers when it comes to ballads.
Yeah, they don't get the kudos that a lot of the Journey ballads for him and stuff like that. But we like a lot of that stuff, don't we? You know, so you're always looking for a different angle on a ballad, and I think we're Walking with Angels. We've got a
slightly different sort of tune, isn't it? You know,
we're Incredible, just straight down the line.
It's a scarf wave, really.
And I just mentioned you've been prolific over these last few years, but there's one song you put on Only Fooling EP. from 2012, and it surprised a lot of fans. And I don't think many people are aware, but it's an old song which was made famous by Ozzy Osbourne, "Shot in the Dark."
Yeah.
But he sort of slipped it on the B-side with the original lyrics, but he sort of kept quiet about the history behind it. You know, sort of
that's a long story.
The fans had to find out about it themselves. He's been pretty quiet behind it. So,
yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the origins of "Shot in the Dark."
Well, I won't go into too much detail because it's been going on for a while, and I've kind of put it to one side now and left it. But it was written as a song for the second album by a band called Wildlife that I was in with Simon Kirk.
Yeah.
It was the first song we wrote. Me and my brother and Phil Susan wrote it around my mum's house. A mate of mine was there when we wrote it, Ken Lorenz. I was talking to him and wrote the song. So the version that's on our EP is the original version as me and my brother and Phil wrote it. So Phil then went, I forgot about the song because Wildlife split, Swan Song Records folded, so we called it a day. Yeah. So to sum it up, Phil went off, didn't know what he was doing. I went off and we did FM. And all of a sudden I was watching the Tube one day. Do you remember the Tube program?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm in the kitchen with my mum and I could hear the song and I went,
this must be nice. He was playing live, wasn't it?
This is a weird. I know this song. I went in there and it was same melody, same melody. And I thought, yeah, that's the one. But you know, I've got Ozzy and Sharon were great. They sort of came to me and said, you know, they heard that there was a thing with a song that had been going on. Phil had presented it to them the way he had. Ozzy rewrote all the words, so I've got he did his part of what his writing stuff. But that's how it came about. But you know, it's one of those things, you know. As with FM and as with everything, I'm sort of more about moving forward, breaking up the past. But it was just a kind of, I guess, Merv liked the original version of the song, and everybody did. So
it's a nice way to close the lid on it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought we'll record the original version. We had permission from Ozzy and Sharon and everyone to do it. So we just thought we'll do it. So
and a personal question: do you get royalties from the Ozzy version?
No,
not at all.
No. That's why we won't go into it.
That's fair enough. And talking of Ozzy, and obviously got a great manager in Sharon Osbourne, but you know you've worked with Peter Grant before.
I was
legendary Led Zeppelin manager.
Yeah. Peter managed Wildlife.
Yeah.
Because he managed everybody. I mean, we formed the band. Bad Company was still together at the time, the original Bad Company. So we formed the band, and Peter just came in and said, we had other managers when we first got it together, came in and said, right, I want to take this thing on. Signed it in America to Atlantic and Swan Song.
Can't say no to him.
Yeah, when he comes in, all the other managers tend to just run away and disappear, or they used to, you know. And so it was great. I mean, I never saw much of Peter. It used to be strange meetings in lay-bys in a Winnebago and things like that, you know. But he was a great character, you know. And we sort of got on the Swan Song, sort of, I guess, conveyor belt and the way they do things. And you know, I remember rehearsing in Nomis, and I was about 18 with Simon, and there were two minders on the door. And I'm like thinking, what are these blokes doing here? I'm like a little bloke in King's Lynn, and I couldn't. When I went to get a sandwich, they used to come with me, and I'm like, nobody has a clue who I am, you know. And it's like, well, I guess when Jimmy Page was there, they had to do that, you know.
Exactly, yeah. And you've recorded filmed some sort of very lavish videos in the past, like That Girl was filmed in Montserrat, and Someday was filmed at Brixton Academy.
Yeah.
But the later videos, not so much glamorous sort of places like Cold Hearted, but I'm sure FM fans out there would like to know where that was filmed.
That was filmed, you know, which is like
London, right?
Yeah. An old broken down railway shack.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the director found it, and it was great. It was a great place. It was just like, they had like about 40 years of different graffiti all over the wall, and it was just a great setting. And we wanted to do something a bit different. So it was a hell of a job getting the gear. It was about 3 miles up a hill to get the gear to it, you know. But no, we try and find different things. I mean, it's like the Digging Up the Dirt video. We sort of we were one of the bands in the 80s that didn't do a video with girls with you know. So we thought.
I think Dave Link sort of mentioned this week in Classic Rock. Actually, you've got the girls in it, and it's a bit sort of sleazy.
Yeah. We
doesn't really go with the FM image.
We thought, is it too late to do one like that now? You know, it's it'd be great. You know.
And you never really cracked America for one reason or another. And obviously you went to go there last year, it didn't ever happen for one reason or another.
Exactly.
And why is that exactly? Why can America adopt FM?
Well, They were going to. It was just back in the day, we were signed in England. We kept going out to America, hence the writing of Desmond and all the writing trips and all the stuff we did.
Shot the Bad Luck video in
LA.
Yeah, Long Beach.
Oh wow,
And so we kept going out. We had big American management, we had everything. But the problem was, once again, to cut a long story short, we were signed by the UK company. The American company wanted to take the band over, because we did actually have a radio hit with Frozen Heart. It was starting to go. But then there was that happened between the British label and the American label. They couldn't agree, and the only people that suffer in those situations are the band. They can argue, but all that time we're still touring the UK and doing our there's nothing wrong with that, but we just never got out there.
And obviously, what didn't help is another American band out there called FM. It always doesn't work in your favour, you know.
But I don't think it was. I just think it was this thing where everybody wanted to do their own thing with FM, and we got lost in all the fighting and arguing in the middle there.
Politics.
We were all set to go on the Emerson, Lake and Powell tour.
But
that got cancelled, and that was going to be our chance, really. So I remember we were driving down the M1, and we got the news that the tour had been cancelled, and I sort of felt then that was like our chance to do it, and once that had gone, you know, it's difficult.
It's tough, isn't it? Because it's such a huge market. You've got to get on the right tours and do the right things. And I think it's just circumstances, mate. You know, we don't look back with any bitterness about it, because you learn from these things.
Same as Thunder, they got the song.
Exactly,
They got the.
Or even the big boys like Crow and Slade.
It's just getting the breaks to the States.
But these days we've got the power of the internet, and do you get fans from America contacting you?
We sell a lot of stuff
we do.
through the shop. I suppose, like Italy and Spain, until we go out there, we don't really know.
Of course, it's both been new ventures for you.
Unbelievable.
In the last couple of years.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the Frontiers Festival just shocked us. It was like the Firefest. We walked down, it's like, and we're like, we've never been here. We've never been here. You know, it's like, it was brilliant, mate. Brilliant, you know.
And just talking about America, because obviously Someday was one time we used a single from an outside writer, like a total outside writer, this time Mark III. And if some big manager, hey guys, I'm going to make you famous in America, here's a song, would you do that again, or you think, no, you're happy with your own material?
We didn't actually write that song, did we?
No, it was Judith and Robin Randall wrote it,
So it got presented to us, it was supposed to be.
He sang it, he was on the
desk.
deck.
It was supposed to be for another band, and we got it, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it Starship? Jefferson Starship.
Could have been.
Not the big American band, but
I've read an interview by the writers, and they said it was earmarked for, and then all of a sudden, I think Muff Winwood got it for us.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. It was. Well, to answer your question, it would depend on who the big manager was, you know, and if the song was great and it would break us through in the States, we'd do it, wouldn't we?
If we hear a song by outside writers now and we liked it,
we do it. You know, it's like we're not that precious about everything. You know,
we had, when we were with Portrait, remember Peter Carpin? He said, I had this song for you, but we didn't think you'd want to hear it, and it was You're the Voice.
Oh well, it's John Farnham,
And he said, we didn't think you'd even...
Fair enough, you are voice.
We're like, maybe we would have done, you know, it's like, you know. Yeah, it's happened before, but we didn't hear about it until way after, and he'd had the hit and everything, you know.
That was the thing in the 80s, though, a lot co-writing.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was,
and we did every time to think of you, which is Eric Martin's song.
Fair enough, not the old songwriters these days, right, for the country artists in America now, rather than the rock artists, because that's the big thing in America about money.
Just
put a Stetson on some Spurs.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. And just tell us more about this tour, because obviously you've got Romeo's Daughter supporting all FM fans, and Merv himself knows everything about Romeo's Daughter. But there's another band, No Hot Ashes. You know, I could be the only person in this planet for who, you know, but I've got a bit of history. So tell FM fans why they should get in early to see No Hot Ashes. Tell us more about them.
Belfast.
Back
when we started in the 80s, they were doing the same thing in Belfast as we were doing in London. And basically the drummer in the band is a gentleman called Steve Strange, and he manages our band now. They opened up for us and Foreigner in Belfast and Dublin.
They're a great bunch of lads as well. They're great, really good, very melodic band, you know, good harmonies and everything. So, just seemed like the right thing to do, you know. And so it'd be a good bill. It's a great bill, you know. And it's always great having Romeo's out with us. It's just like an old family. We started together years ago.
I remember seeing you at the Marquee together many years ago.
So it's a great thing when we're out on the road together, you know.
And so you're also playing with No Hot Ashes as well Ramley Man Festival.
Yeah.
And you're the only band that weekend that's also playing the Still House Festival the very same weekend. How about that?
Found out about that. I've just
They like to keep us in the dark a bit, but that's great. That's great. It's a great way to, because we're doing festivals in Europe right through the summer. So that for us is to finish off sort of the summer thing, and over here, it's 2 great festivals to do.
I know you played the Grass Pop Festival, is that right?
Yeah, we're doing that, yeah.
And that's quite more on the heavier end of the scale, So how do you feel as a band? You think, we're going to some Beehoff Man fan today.
We've done it before, mate.
We're in the Metal Dome.
Metal Dome, yeah. Awesome Dragon Force.
We'll be there,
yeah. But what it is, it's good to have a varied kind of thing on festivals, I think. And people like to hear different stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done heavy festivals before, and we just do a slightly heavier set, but we had Chance to Arm and done Closer to Heaven.
I think we used to shy away from them sort of things in the old days, and now we just like
bring it on.
We just go for it. We just go for it.
We do what we do,
so
just bring it on, really.
And there's one song you play a hell of a lot over the years. It's a cover version, and some fans love it, and I'm not mentioning no names, but some journos out there despise the song. Marvin Gaye's Heard It Through the Grapevine. What is it about that song that you love so much?
Well, funnily enough, when it first came up and Andy had the riff and stuff, it was like for me to cover a Marvin Gaye song, because I was like, I can't be singing a Marvin Gaye song. It's like me covering a Stevie Wonder song, I wouldn't dare, and it was like, but it just worked. We just played it and it worked, and the record company heard it and just said, that's fantastic, you've got to record that. So we did, and it became a set favourite for a long time, but now with all the new original stuff coming through, we haven't got room for it anymore, and it's
we actually like playing.
Yeah, we do.
I must admit, I saw you at Islington Academy a couple of years back when Lee came on. With you, and that was excellent actually.
Well, it's just got a lot of energy, hasn't it? That version of it, and it was always a good song to close because you got the keyboard stuff at the start, and just a good live song.
Like we said earlier, you can't please everybody.
So the punters have spoken.
And the album title was called Heroes and Villains. There's not a song on the album called Heroes and Villains, but the album is. And over the years, obviously, we must have met all your heroes over the years. So
yeah, we have, yeah.
And I know you're a big Lizzie fan, Merv, and I believe you met Phil Lynott before.
Oh yeah, back in the day, everybody
got quite
knew
friendly
him.
with him. Yeah, we knew him. Yeah.
We used to rehearse at a place called Easy Hire, which was in Caledonian Road in North London, and he was putting Grand Slam together at the time, and. He knew I was a big fan. He lent me all his equipment to record in discreet, and he was just a good egg, really.
Yeah, we do him. Great,
really nice bloke, and
a real star. If you know what I mean. Great guy, really.
And when he found out we'd nicked a lot of riffs for Indiscreet off of Thin Lizzy, he was even more chuffed. You know what I mean? He had the opposite. Most people would be a bit pissed
and all
off
the
with
twin
that.
lead, all the twin leads.
And he was just over the moon about that, And obviously, I started in a band with John Sykes, so that connection was how we knew each other. And he was. Well, the first ever tour we did was Gary Moore, the first ever British tour, and he got up a lot of nights, and it was great to see. Then you actually saw just what a real star.
Of course, that wasn't long before he passed away, sadly, either, was it?
No, it wasn't.
He was so before.
That was terrible.
I remember when they did, or when we did Manchester.
Yeah.
And Gary had gone down all right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't mayhem, and I just remember Phil came out for the encore and just did that.
And that was it.
And the place went mental.
Yeah.
And I've even now it sends shivers down my spine.
Superstar.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
And the charisma. Just walk into a room.
So it's down to 1-up over Tottenham.
1-all.
That was 1-all.
Oh, sorry.
And over the years, you meet people in the music business, and not many people have got a bad word about Phil. It's all good stories.
Everybody loved it.
He always had time for the fans, and I think now people realise what a great band Lizzy was.
Definitely,
Oh, without doubt.
And you've toured with Fitness, like the later incarnations of Fitness
the last tour. We got to do the last tour,
Yeah.
I got to do a few of the sound checks on Scott's Scott was over the moon, And no, it's nice.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was great. Doing jailbreak.
I got it on video, watching it all, Don't play it to
How about you,
anybody.
Pete? Who's your heroes growing up, and have you met them over the years?
Heroes, I haven't met. The first band I ever saw was Deep Purple on the Burn tour, and that was that was great. That was a great lineup. That was. So Ian Pace was obviously, and then when Samson played with Gary Moore, Ian Pace was just the band, so that was great, and, and that was fantastic. Simon Kirk, John Bonham, kind of thing. I met.
Obviously, you worked on Kirk.
I met Jeff Porcaro, who was my absolute hero. Unfortunately, he's passed away. I met him at a trade fair thing. I was so nervous meeting him, and I walked up to him. And at the time, I was using Yamaha drums, and he was. I thought, and I said, "Hello, Mr. Porcaro. I use Yamaha drums." And he said, "I swapped to Pearl." And I'm like,
that's the end of that.
I couldn't speak. I was just there, just shaking his hand, just looking at him, and he just kind of wandered off. It's so embarrassing. But no, it's just great to meet him. He was incredible.
How about you, Steve?
Well, I've been lucky. I mean, all my obviously, I'd love to meet Stevie Wonder. He's a massive. I'm a huge.
Have you seen him live in concert?
Never have. Never have. And
missing out there.
Oh, he's an incredible singer. Beyond my wildest dreams, really. And you've got obviously, I grew up with Free, so I've been very lucky because I've got to work with Simon. I got to know Mick because Bad Company were a massive band for me. The first 2 Bad Company albums were huge. Yeah, he did. So Mick became a friend, and I spoke to Paul on the phone. Paul's obviously, as far as sort of rock, my style of singing, is the man, really, for me.
Did you meet Andy Fraser, by chance?
I didn't, no.
I'm sorry, man.
No,
obviously, he didn't come over here for years.
And I didn't meet Boz either. I'd like to have met Boz because he was supposed to be a great guy. But I was fortunate to work with them in the studio. They recorded Desolation Homes. I did all the albums in Ridge Farm. So it was a great kick for me, that.
Brilliant.
And we've met some great, I've met, over the years, we've toured with some great bands. The Bon Jovi boys, they were fantastic, and Journey, and it was great to meet Mick Jones because, that man has written, if you go, when you listen to that set and the songs he's written, and he is probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He's fantastic.
And people that have got up with us over the years, like Glenn Hughes and Ralphs and people like that. Yeah. It's just such a brilliant thing to have them jump up on stage. And
we've been very lucky.
It's bizarre, actually, because I know we talked about this before.
Yeah.
We've both been at the bar, but I remember that time when Glenn Hughes joined you, and there's that time when he was like, he was in a very dark place, and he was at the Marquee Club on the Taking the Streets tour, and up comes Glenn Hughes doing Stevie Wonder number, Superstitious, and I thought, where did you... For the benefit of the camera, you could tell the readers, how did you get hold of Glenn Hughes at the time?
He was a friend of Andy's.
Yeah, he knew Andy, and we kind of knew him. He was also at Easy's quite a lot.
We did it in Paris, and he got up there, and so we liked Coast to Coast, and we knew him better than him.
Yeah, we did. Coast to Coast.
Great song.
Yeah.
So he enjoyed it the first time he got up. So. Then
you just get to know people, Mark. You go through the business and you hook up with people and you're on tours and stuff.
But I believe that was the only public appearance he made that year when you appeared here.
Yeah, really was it? Oh, right.
A little bit of trivia for you. And more recently, you've had Bernie Marston. He's appeared at you at Cambridge.
He's great. Well, Jim plays with him quite a bit.
Of course,
and so. He's been to a few gigs now. He's got
he comes up and does a bit.
He's written some fantastic songs.
Of course,
he's a bit of a legend. So it's always nice when. And Robert Hart has got up with us a couple of times. It makes a nice change for us, because we can play some different songs. I was like,
Bertie did Here I Go Again at Cambridge. So
he's done it a few times with us, and it just goes, well, obviously it's going to go down great because it's one of the all-time legendary rock songs.
Plus we can play a hit at the end of the set.
Well, you went by the hit single.
I'm glad you think so. The record will show, but...
Well, saying that, I believe the album's heading towards the top 40 this week.
Oh, blimey, this is
Sin.
It was 35.
35.
Anything can happen.
We'll probably end up at number 400, but
Never thought we'd be a top 40 band at this stage in our career.
I just thought I wanted to interview up the album. It's called Heroes and Villains, and just talk about all the heroes you met. And you could be honest, what's the villains you met over the years?
Oh, blimey, how long have you got?
All the record companies were
Do you know, it's weird, isn't it? Because you just get on with it. I mean, I can't think of anybody that I think it's been particularly
No, we
terrible
love
in our career, you know.
We like a lovable rogue, that's the trouble with us, don't we? You take a side to them, work for them.
Take them on, employ them, you know.
So we're the only band who would employ an alcoholic driver as our driver. That's we did.
No, we did.
We didn't realise at the time, but it's like, he drinks quite a lot.
And he hasn't slept for 4 days.
You've had a bus crash before, haven't you?
That wasn't it.
That was another one that didn't drink quite as much.
Well, Pete, Steve, Merv, it's been great talking to you. The album
Pleasure.
Heroes and Villains is out on Frontiers.
Yep.
Right now, actually. Right now.
Just out, mate.
And the tour starts in Bristol, 1st of May. You play Wolverhampton, Portsmouth, Nottingham, Glasgow, Newcastle, Manchester, and good old Shepherdbush.
Yeah.
May the 10th, and I'll be there. So I'm looking forward to that. Brilliant. All the best.
Employ that driver again.
It's been marvellous talking to you. All the best for the future. Thank you.
Mark, thanks.